everyone, this is Oksana, and today I have a fun pendant for you. This pendant only uses one piece of round copper dead soft wire. This is 18 gauge round wire here, and this was inspired by an older tutorial I did back in 2019 that uses a teardrop shaped stone. But the problem with that one is you can only use a teardrop. You can't use an oval or it just kind of wobbles in there. So I've altered the design. It starts out the same way, but then you're going to see some changes because I had to alter it to make it work for an oval shaped stone. So if you want to see how I did this, just keep watching. My stone is an oval Labradorite, and it measures a little bit over an inch. So due to its size, I'm going to be using some 18 gauge round copper dead soft wire, just one piece of wire. But if your stone is less than an inch, then I would scale down to 20 gauge, okay, because 18 gauge is a bit thick and it can be hard to work with if you are trying to use it with a small stone. But my stone's quite large, so it needs it because this wire will be more sturdy. And the one piece that you will need is 15 inches. 15 inches. And here's what my spool of wire looks like. So 18 gauge. Round copper, and I purchased this from riogrande.com. So the first thing you're going to do is bring the two ends of your wire together. So we're kind of folding it in half, and we're just gonna continue to bend it a little bit. See, it forms like this little shape, I guess. So we're gonna make that small because that is gonna sit on this top portion of our stone. So you can make it a little smaller if you want. You can make it more rounded like a circle if you don't like this longer shape of it. It's totally up to you. I'm just gonna leave it how it is. And now I'm going to twist this to make my bail. So for it to twist nicely, you want these two wires that are going to be doing the twisting to just be at like a nice angle to each other. If one of them is more straight, then the other one's going to start to wrap around it, and it's not going to be an even twist. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold and twist, and then I'm going to check. This one ever so slightly moved up, so I'm just moving it down a little bit. And again, twist. And just check that your wires are at an equal angle, going up and down. And twist. This is kind of tedious doing it just like one twist at a time, but it'll really help if you are new to twisting your wire, especially with a thicker wire like the 18 gauge. It's going to help you get a nice even twist. So we're going to do it again. And another thing you can do, because sometimes just from the process of twisting it, you might start to kind of separate or come apart a little bit, your twist, and you can go over it with your pliers. I like to do that at the very end just to fix everything up. And this is going to be our bail, so we do need it to be taller than this. So I'm going to twist again. See this little tiny bump forming there? You can just press down on it, fix that up. I think this might be tall enough now. We can check. Just pressing down on this, kind of flatten it a little bit. You could hammer it if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna flatten it a little bit and press it down. Here's how that's all looking. So let's grab our stone and put this just right here, right on the front. Now we're gonna hold it and we are gonna bend this back. So just kind of curve it. Let me zoom out a little bit. So just gonna curve it with your fingers and bend it back. And if you need a big bail, because you have like a big necklace that you want to put through it, maybe like a beaded necklace, you could twist a little more, so this will be even taller, even bigger, but for me this is adequate. The cord necklaces I use should fit through there. So here's what that should look like. And this is our back. So right now the stone can kind of go all the way up into the bail. It can come right out. There's no stability in the stone. So you're gonna have to hold it in place. So the way you wanna hold it in place is so that this portion is on your stone and then the twist ends here on the back. And so you have yourself this little bail here. You don't wanna hold it too high in there and cover up your bail. You don't wanna hold it too low so that your twist is past your stone. Okay, so you're just gonna hold it like this. And now here on the sides, we're gonna bend this wire and we are gonna put it through that little loop on the front. So just one wire at a time, put it through just really gently and don't pull on it hard because it can like move everything out of place. You want to just do one wire at a time. So see, that made like this little loop there. That's kind of sitting around the top edges of your stone. Okay, so now we're just going to bend the other one. We're going to do the same thing. I'm just holding it like this and putting it through, not pulling very hard, but just kind of guiding it through a little at a time. You could use your pliers if you're having trouble with your fingers guiding the wire. You can just you can kind of grab the wire with your pliers and guide it through like that. So once you've put that through, we're just going to see how that is looking from the front. We're going to check that that is even. And these wires here, we're going to kind of bend them just right here at this top portion. Just making sure that it's even and equal. So now our stone is no longer going to slide up into the bail. It's still going to fall down, but it's no longer going up. So we just have to secure it from the bottom now. So here is what the back looks like. My wires have some bends in them from when I was trying to put them through there, through this front part. So you can just get rid of those bends. You can either straighten them out with your fingers or you can just press on it with your pliers just to fix that up a little bit. But basically this is our back, and what we want to do, we want to do this. Let me put the stone back in for a second here. I'm going to do it like kind of on the middle maybe of your stone. So if it's easier for you to have the stone in there, you would just press down on this top portion, and that way this is your middle, and you would kind of crisscross these wires. So the fact that I'm pressing on it helps this top portion stay in place as I crisscross these wires. And now you can take your stone out and go ahead and just press on this little area here like that, and we're going to twist these two wires twice. So one in two. Like that. And you can press on that if you need to tighten it up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to straighten these wires just by kind of running them through my fingers, because some of them have a little bit of bends and I want them to be straight. You can use nylon pliers or a cloth to run them through. It's up to you. I feel like I can just adequately do it with my fingers, but the key thing is just to hold this with your pliers. That'll give you the ability to do that. All right, so now we're gonna pop our stone back in. This is still the back. Just wanna show you what that looks like from the back. Here's our little twist. So now our wires have pretty much reached the bottom. And what you wanna do is you just wanna look on the bottom here and make sure this is centered nicely, you know, so not tilted in any way. You will also wanna make sure that this is pushed up into this area and centered. And then when it's all good, you're going to bend these wires from the back onto the front, like this. And now here on the front, what we need to do is we need to work them through underneath here. There's usually some gaps. Let me see if I can show you. There we go. See, there's space. Because of the way this is going into here, it forms a little bit of a gap. So you can work these wires through, but so that we don't put all kinds of bends and kinks into our wires trying to do it, the easiest way is by cutting them a little bit shorter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them, see here where like the twists of my bail start? I'm going to cut them roughly that tall. That way it won't be too short, but it also won't be as long, and it'll be much easier to just take this little end and then just kind of like open this up a little bit, curve this down, and get it under there like that. We didn't have to mess around with this wire too much by doing that. So I'm going to get that under, and I'm going to do this other one. So I'm just taking it, lifting it from the stone, kind of curving it down, pushing it through that gap, like that. So now we want to make sure they're centered here on the bottom. Nothing has changed. None of them have moved out of place. If one of them has, just kind of put it back where you need it to go, because the stone can still slide a little bit side to side. We're going to lock it in place, but first we need to make sure it's all good. If there's a little bend in your wire, you can straighten it out. And now we're going to take this and bend it. And then we're going to do that to the other side as well. So we're just going to do this a little bit at a time to each side, because if you do it too much on one side, it's just going to move everything over to that side. So you want to just very gently and carefully do it just a little bit at a time. See, this side is kind of bending down now. All right, that is looking even. And what we're going to do now is we are going to trim it, but we're going to leave a little end like that, because we need that end to reach. We need it to reach to right here, so we can curve this around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that little wire end and I'm just going to curve it around like this. And now I'm going to press that down, and it's connected. And then same thing here on this side, just going to take that little wire end, just kind of curve it up end around, forming a little loop, and then just press that little loop closed. So you have these like little kind of bumps on the side. You can press down on them a little bit if they're sticking out too much, but they're not too noticeable, and that's pretty much it. Now I'm just gonna try to press down on these front wires to make the gaps a little bit less. Remember, there's little gaps under here. And I'm gonna go over everything. The stone should be secure now. It shouldn't move up and down, or it shouldn't move side to side either. It's very sturdy and secure feeling at this point. So if there's anything that has moved out of place that you need to fix, you can do that now. So here it is. It is all completed, and here's what it looks like from the back. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching.